song was composed by Spencer the Rover, who travelled through England and most parts all round. He'd been much reduced, which caused great confusion, and that was the reason he started to roam. In Yorkshire near Rotherham, he being on his ramble, weary of travelling, he sat down to rest. At the foot of the mountain there runs a clear fountain, with bread and cold water he himself did refresh. It tasted much sweeter than the gold he had wasted, sweeter than honey, and it gave more content. But the thoughts of his children lamenting their father brought tears to his eyes, and it made him lament. The night fast approaching, to the woods he resorted, with woodbine and ivy his bed for to make. He dreamt about crying, lamenting and dying. Go home to your family and rambling forsake. On the 5th of November, I've reason to remember, first he arrived home to his family and wife. They stood so surprised when first he arrived, to see such a stranger once more in their life. And his children came round him with brittle prattling stories, brittle prattling stories to drive care away. Now they are united like birds of one feather, bees in one hive, contented they'll stay. So now they're all living in their cottage contented, with woodbine and children growing all around the door. They're as happy as those that's got thousands of riches. Contented he'll stay and go rambling home. Come, sweet Jane, for I must go. Come closer to me. My trunk is stowed on Johnson's boat with all his company. I heard a loud like thunder roar out of some cannon's mouth. I would be welcome safe at home in my sweet sunny south. I labored hard for 7 years, working for my wealth. I lived on bread and salty meat and never lost my health. I heard a loud like thunder roar out of some ship on board. I spied sweet Jane in all her curls, come stepping to the shore. I led her through the marbled halls, in through her father's door. A gay young crowd was standing on the floor. The parson read the marriage vows. Where does one soul for life? Now, Jane, you are mine without a doubt, a kind and loving wife.
Are here, and the penny browns, the quarters and the dimes. Yeah, a baby. Mary had a baby. I think I will call Emmanuel. Laid him in swaddling clothes. Yeah, 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 I think I will call him Emmanuel. And then the wise men came. Yeah. And then the wise men came. Yeah. Then the wise men came. Yeah. Then the wise men came. I think I will call Emmanuel. Welcome everybody to a very subdued Christmas. We are so happy to be here with you at the Lucas Hicks Theater, at the New Prospect Theater, celebrating with you. We're definitely within our second decade of having a subdued Christmas together. We started out at Boundary Bay, and then we moved to the Green Frog, and then we moved to the new Green Frog, and then moved to Boundary Bay, then we moved to that little theater over there in 16, and then we moved here for 17, 18, 19, and we have not been together since 19. Here we are. We broadcast to you in 20 and 21, and I hope you are having as much fun as we were. Oh, David and I were very cold in 20 in his cold garage. David was masked. It was a very cold, COVID-safe, subdued Christmas that year. And it was just in 21 we allowed 6 other people than just David and I. So, you know, our intimate partners and our children, and that was all that we could be. And David has 4 intimate partners, so that was why we got to 6 that way. But now here we are with a live audience. You are the live audience, and we are also streaming out. I know we're streaming out to Missouri and to New York State and all over the world. So hello to everybody who's looking at us through the lens. And we are here celebrating a very subdued Christmas because we're dealing with it. We're just dealing with it. We're dealing with it. We got these narratives coming down on us. They're coming down. And sometimes we celebrate them, and sometimes we wish we didn't have to celebrate them, and sometimes we don't celebrate them at all. There are some people in the room who will say things like, I just don't do Christmas. Yeah. Well, it'll do you. You can either wear the jingle bells, or you cannot wear the jingle bells, because you got to deal with it. We got these two myths coming down on us. We got these two stories coming down on us. And what we're doing tonight is we are gathered in a small, dark room with friends to tell stories and sing songs. And that's what human beings have always done since day one when the dark days came. They gathered in the small rooms to stay warm. If you get more people in the room is warm, and you want to be warm when it's dark. We wait for the solstice, and then the light starts coming back. But who are we kidding? The light's not coming back for a very long time. The solstice is like a month long, really. I mean, there's one moment, and let's celebrate. I'm looking for a reason to celebrate myself. But it's not the solstice that comes down on us so heavy, is it? No, we got these two big narratives coming down on us right now here in 2023. We got the fat man in the red suit with the white beard bringing toys to every girl and boy and bringing the joy. We got the Santa Claus going on, and we got to deal with it, and that means you probably got to do a little bit of shopping, and there are some people who are more into shopping than others. Hey, it's good to see you. You're very welcome. We've saved seats for you. Those three right there, but I don't know. And of course, we got the other creation myth we're dealing with. We got the baby Jesus born of Mary, who had not yet lain with a man. We got to deal with that. Some of you might be thinking, I don't want to deal with that. You got to deal with it. Here it is. It's coming at us, a little town of Bethlehem, which is not celebrating Christmas this year. We got to deal with it. We got to deal with these stories. And the way I deal with it is by learning these songs that have something to do with the Christmas season and singing them to you wherever you may be, whoever you may be, and dealing with it. Of course, there are people who will say of this second creation myth, they will say, Jesus wasn't really born in December. You know the type. They're a lot of fun, and then they'll carry on. If you engage them, they'll carry on. Well, really, the whole thing is that when Christianity was colonizing the rest of the world, they would just go into different cultures and take over their traditions and let them people sort of look like that. So they took over the Druid traditions of the solstice, and then they turned it into Christmas. But Jesus wasn't really born then. Lighten up, man. Could we lighten up? Charitable giving is at highs this time of year. Let's embrace the good about it, And there were an awful lot of good songs that came out of it. When was Jesus born? Yeah, I thought you knew it. If you don't, you're going to learn it. He was born on the last month of the year. Let's tune up that guitar before we go any further.
Try that again.
It's always the B string. Why don't you just start with the B string? It's always the B string. But you don't. You can't. You can't, because what if it's not the B string? Exactly.
I'm in the wrong key.
Yeah, When was Jesus born? Oh, you're so good. It's been a long time. It's been since 2019, and you're kicking in just like that. You've learned at the Robert Sarazin Blake Very Subdued Christmas Show, it is best to have a beverage or two before getting here, because we're getting right into it. We're getting right into it here, people. It's a singing show, because people will do things this time of year they will not do other times of year. You know what I mean? We'll get into what those are exactly, but of course the most important one of those is people will... That's right, they'll sing. Even in August at the Jamboree, they won't do it. They'll be, But at the holiday season, oh yeah. Where were we? Oh, when was Jesus born? On the last month of the year. Oh, when was Jesus born? On the last month of the year. Oh, when was Jesus born? On the last month of the year. Was it January? No. February? No. March, April, and May? Was it June, July? August, September, October, no. November was the 25th day of December, was the last month of the year. Oh, he was born in the Virgin Mary when? The last month of the year. Yes, he was born of the Virgin Mary when? On the... Yes, he was born of the Virgin Mary when? On the last... Was it January? Louder. Was it January? February? March, April, or May? Was it June, July? August, September, October, November? Was the 25th day of December? Was the last month of the year? And I know a lot of you are thinking right now, good, we got it. All we have to do is the nose and the last month of the year. Incorrect. You're gonna have to sing the months, but I'm gonna give you a clue. They come in order. Oh, then the wise men came when? On the last month of the year. Oh, when the wise men came on the... Oh, then the wise men came when? Was it January, February, March, April, or May? Was it June, July, August, September, October, November? Was the 25th day of December? Was the last month of the year? Welcome to the party, Mars. Yeah! Oh, when did Mars come to the show? He came 5 minutes late. When did Mars come to the show? He came 5 minutes late. Oh, when did Mars come to the show? He came 5 minutes late. Was it 10 minutes early? No, 8 minutes early. No, 7 minutes early. No, 5 minutes early. Was it right on time? He came 5 minutes late. Oh, then the shepherds bowed their head on the last month of the year. Oh, then the shepherds bowed their head on the last month of the year. Oh, then the shepherds bowed their head on the last month of the year. Was it January, February, March, April, and May? Was it? On the last month of the year. You got it pretty good, but let's do it again because it's fun. Was it January, February, March, April, and May? Was it June, July, August, September, October? Was the last month just me and my dad? Was it January? Just me and my dad. He's here, it's not a spiritual thing. Was it January, February, March, April, or May? Was it June, July? Me and my dad, I heard him and I want to sing with him. Are you ready, Dad? Yeah, I know, but your neighbors are out of control. January, no, March, April, and May. Was it June, July, August, September, October, November? It was the last month of the year. Coming on Christmas, cutting down trees, putting up reindeer, singing songs of joy and peace. And I wish I had a river I could sail away on. There's no snow here, you know, it stays pretty green. Gonna make a lot of money, I'm gonna quit this crazy scene. And I wish I had a river I could skate away on. I wish I had a river so long I could teach my feet to fly. wish I had a river I could skate away on. I made my baby cry. You know, tried hard to help me, put me at ease. Loved me so naughty, made me weak in the knees. And I wish I had a river I could skate away on. But I'm so hard to handle, I'm selfish and I'm sad. Lost the best baby that I ever had. Well, I wish I had a river I could skate away on. I wish I had a river so long I could teach my feet to fly. Yeah, I wish I had a river I could skate away on. I made my baby say goodbye. I made my baby cry. I made my baby cry. I made my baby cry. I made my baby say goodbye. Thank you. This day a year ago, he was playing in the snow with his younger brother in his father's yard. Christmas break, a time for touching home, the heart of what he'd known, and leaving was so hard. 1,000 miles away, now he's working Christmas Day, earning double time for the minding of the store. He always said he'd make it on his own, spending Christmas Eve alone. First Christmas away from home. She's standing by the train station, panhandling for change. $4 more buys a decent meal and room. Looks like the Sally Ann place after all, in a crowded sleeping hall that echoes like a tomb. But it's warm and clean and free, and there's worse places to be, and at least it means no beatings from her dad. And if she cries because it's Christmas Day, she hopes that it won't show. First Christmas away from home. In the apartment there's a tree, and it looks so small and bare, not like it ought to be. The little silver star on top is not the one you had for your own, and you want it for your own. First Christmas away from home. In the morning, there'll be prayers and crafts and tea upstairs, then another meal in his little room. Hoping the boys will think to call before the day is done. Well, it's best they did it soon. When the old girl passed away, he fell apart more every day. Each had always kept the other pretty well. The kids all said the nursing home was best because they couldn't live alone. First Christmas away from home. Common room they've got the biggest tree. It looks so huge and cold and lifeless, not like it ought to be. The flashing Santa Claus on top, it's not that same old silver star you once had for your own. First Christmas away from home. Thank you very much. That's Jan Peters there on the harmonica, Aaron Harmonson on the bass. That song there is from the great Canadian songwriter you may not have heard of called Stan Rogers, and the one before that is from the great Canadian songwriter I would be really worried about you if you had not heard of, called Joni Mitchell. This one, we travel south a little ways from here to Everett to the great songwriter I hope you've heard of, and I hope you get the chance to see if you haven't already, and if you have already, I hope you see the great Jason Webley again. Jason wrote a solstice song, and he undertook what is very difficult to do. He wrote a song celebrating solstice, which is, of course, 2 holidays. And he took upon himself the very difficult task of writing one song for two very different holidays. And we're going to sing it together. You're going to repeat after me. Some people thought, wow, we really got through that sing-along part. Great, I'm going to relax. You have not been to the show before. Longest night, shortest night. Let's all do a pagan rite. Tree in the living room, I don't know why. Two more weeks till the 4th of July. The apparent position of the sun is in its northernmost place. The apparent position. Or in its southernmost place. I think you got it now. Together. Longest night, shortest night. Let's all do a pagan tree in the living room. I don't know why. 2 more weeks till the 4th of July. The apparent position of the sun is in its northernmost place, or in its southernmost place. Keith, if you would, now let's just, before we go, let's just say right now, thank you to Keith. He's running the sound and the lights and all the props and all the staging. Everybody here's been great. Thank you to the New Prospect Theater. Keith, can we turn on the house lights just a little bit? I have a question, and I want an honest answer from everybody out there. And I want them to say before themselves and their neighbors, how many of you out there have gotten kicked out of a bar for singing? Okay, all right. Now we can turn the house lights down again. So those of you that have can sort of influence those of you who are considering such a thing. And this is a great opportunity to display that type of singing right now, right here in the safe space. This is a safe space for that sort of thing. Where were we? Longest night, shortest night. Let's all do a pagan rite. Tree in the living room, I don't know why. 2 more weeks till the 4th of July. The apparent position of the sun is in its northernmost place. Very nice. Now let's stay in sort of a solstice frame of mind while we take a little trip into the imagination. Let's just imagine, it's hard to really, but let's just imagine that we made the choice to change this country from a democracy to a theology. Could we just imagine that? Could we imagine that? I mean, there's nobody advocating for such a thing right now. There's nobody saying that a dictatorship would be better and that really, there's nobody out there dictating that we should stop kind of books kids can look at in schools or stop the kind of things teachers can teach and fire teachers if they teach things like evolution or something like that. Nobody's out there advocating that, so it's a great leap of imagination. But if we could just sort of imagine that this might be happening, and then the next step would be, of course, the theology of Christianity would say, well, there's only one sort of suitable party that you can have this time of year, you know. We're not going to be having Hanukkah parties or Kwanzaa parties or anything like that. We're certainly not going to be having any solstice parties. We're going to be having one kind of party. So people would have to have these parties, or dare I say, a secular gathering. People would have to have some sort of gathering other than a Christmas party, on sort of knowing that if the authorities come by, they'll have to sing a song, you know, to trick the authorities, you know. And if they get the knock on the door, they'll just have to say, simply having a wonderful Christmas time. all simply having a wonderful Christmas. Sing with me now. All simply having a wonderful Christmas time. Once again, driving north, all on my own. Vermont, of course, I saw a sign. I went in, oh, it was open, had to grin. Piece of pie, all the old Christmas night, on my own in the coffee week. The gas is cheap at this diner, on the road exchanging looks with a girl, nothing more, not my world. Drifting off to conversations, other people's situations. An old friend comes to mind, think to myself, so much time between us. Through the years, summer suppers, Christmas beers, and the bodies moved, hearts and minds to other people. We're entwined, we're entwined. And the letters sent, spirits tossed. Some were kept, some were lost. Through the salt, through the sea, through the sound, and up the streams, where the salmon run when they can, just to die. Like the man who runs away, runs along trying to find the fallen sun, and the night is great, it elevates to a higher place, and then it's gone, and the bodies float down the stream to the bottom of the sea with the sailors, and the ships could not return. They were missed, they were missed. Mr. Peter. Quiet moment, a cafe, piece of pie to end the day, all the mode. Coffee too, here's to you, friend, here's to you, here's to you. Here's to you. Well, there are certain things, as we've discovered here, that people will do this time of year, and you've done a nice job singing. But there's something else we got to talk about, because it is, of course, the holiday season, and there's certain behaviors that are allowable at the holiday season that just otherwise they're not, and that's okay, because it's a stressful time. People get nervous about things because, well, I served Thanksgiving this year, so I had to clean the house, and people being sort of a bachelor, people say things to me like that they don't say to other people who are hosting Thanksgiving. They say things to me like, "Do you have enough forks?" And I do. In spades, I got that. There's other things I don't have, and if it weren't for certain members of the family, it would have been a very trying Thanksgiving. But it's good to help each other out, and I appreciate that. And the thing is, though, that's Thanksgiving. But then we move into the dark times. We moved in the dark times, and it's just people show up late for work, and they're haggard, they're unwashed, they're grumpy, they're an hour late, and they start to explain to the boss, "Oh, it's the kid, this, that," and the boss says, "I understand, it's the holiday season." And the boss understands that this happens, and kids get into this. They understand that the parameters of acceptable behavior can be pushed. They don't clean the room, they don't eat things, they don't wear warm things in cold climates, and they can be really a real pill, And the parents won't say to the kids it's acceptable, it's a holiday season, but the parents, when they maybe think the kids can't hear, will say to each other, they say, "Well, we just have to be patient. It is the holiday season, and then the kids hear everything, so they hear it, but parents think that, the parents need to say things thinking the kids can't hear them because things must be said, so they say things and kids hear them, and it's been going on for a long time. But it's just like that way. You make mistakes, and you say something, you're snappy, it's a little snappy. It's dark. It's a very dark time. People say it's the most wonderful time of the year. Good God. Have they been in Bellingham in August? I just give that a little bit of perspective here. The most wonderful time of the year. No, it's cold. We're all depressed. And we try too hard. We should stay in bed. We don't. We get out and we do things, and it doesn't work out, and we're upset, and we are mean to people. So we all forgive each other because it's the... and people who have long-term loved ones understand this more than any, because if you have a long-term loved one, you've been through the ups and the downs, and you go to a company party, and you go to a folk music concert or something like that with your loved one, and you get a few beverages because it's the time of year to sing and relax and enjoy, and it is true, everything tastes better in December. Everything tastes better, except maybe a gin and tonic. But other than that, everything tastes better in December, especially at the company party. Everything just tastes great at the company party. And so you go to these events with your loved one, and if perhaps at the end of the night your loved one goes, off just a little bit with someone else's loved one, and maybe they take just like a weekend trip to Paris or something like that, and they spend all the money that you were going to spend visiting your in-laws in Saskatchewan, in the spring, and they come back from that little trip to Paris and everything. You just look at them and you say, "You don't have to say a word. I understand. It's the..." Yeah. So it's that time of year. It's big forgiveness. It's a time of big forgiveness and acceptance and love. And there's certain people who react differently to that sort of comment than others out there, I've noticed. But Willie Nelson knows about this. The postman delivered the past due bill notice. The alarm clock ran 3 hours late. The garbage man left all the trash on the sidewalk, and the hinges fell off of the gate. And this morning at breakfast, I spilled all the coffee, and I opened the door on my knee. Still the last thing I needed, the first thing this morning, was to have you walk out on me. Last night you came home late. I could tell you've been drinking by that old mellow look on your face. But I said it don't matter, because it's the... And your love fills such a big empty place. That was the most compassionate response sung there. It was like people who really understand. And I lay down beside you. I gave you my loving, 'cause your love makes my life complete. Still the last thing I needed, the first thing this morning, was to have you walk out on me. So excuse me for looking like my world is ended. Excuse me for looking like I just lost my best friend. Excuse me for living, being forgiven. Just go on now if you want to be free. Still the last thing I needed, the first thing this morning, was to have you walk out on me. All right, let's have some fun. Let's have some fun. Let's deal with it. Let's deal with it. Let's get down to it. We've sung a bit about the secular Santa. We've imagined a theocracy. But let's just get down to the heart of it, because this one's because there are people who say Jesus is the reason for the season. I always think that lacks a little bit of historical context for sort of look about him. Only 2,000 years there's been a Jesus, but there's been seasons for a long, long time before that. This season just like any other one of them, you know. Old Joe Christ was Jesus' daddy. He worked at the corner saloon, serving up boundaries and Aslans for the university workers starting around noon. Joe Christ, you know, he worked on the weekends. And at the major holidays, you bet. Well, he probably would have worked on Christmas if Christmas had been invented yet. One day, Joe's wife came into the bar. Mary Christ did not come in most days. She said, Joe, there's something I gotta tell you. I'm pregnant. You know, big with child. In the family way. Joe said, Mary. Mary. I love you. I love you. Have no fear, but on account of my condition, we haven't actually done it in a year. Mary said, my honey pie, my Joe, oh, you know, I would never be untrue. It was the Lord himself who did it to me. Brought along champagne and chocolates too. Well, it was magical, and I could not say no. He had that French accent, and what's more, a little bit rough, you know how I like it. I felt like $1,000 word that rhymes with door. How about Joe? Joe, you gotta understand, it only happened once, that's no lie. Joe, I really do love you. You're my number one guy. Joe Christ, Joe Christ, Joe Christ, tweedly-dee-dee-dee. Joe Christ is gonna have himself a family. Let's sing that together. Joe Christ, Joe Christ, Joe Christ, tweedly-dee-dee-dee. Joe Christ is gonna have himself a family. Well, Mary left the bar and Joe just stared. He sighed the deepest sigh he ever had. Can I believe Mary's story? Oh, then he thought, you know, in a very unusual way, my friends, I'm gonna be a dad. Yeah, yeah. And then Joe said shots of whiskey on the house. Then thought, babysitters, Jesus, how can I afford? And can I believe Mary's story? Was it the milkman or was it the Lord? But Joe thought, what choice do I have? In my condition, I can't get no other dame. There's a creature on the way, and that's the bottom line. It really doesn't matter how it came. Then Joe closed the bar and went home. He found Mary sleeping on the couch. He turned off the TV and the computer. He rolled some tobacco from his pouch. Then Joe looked out at the bright star. He says he looked right out there at the brightest stars. Prayed that his kid would grow up healthy and in time take his place behind the bar. Joe Christ, Joe Christ, Joe Christ, tweedly-dee-dee-dee. Joe Christ is gonna have himself a family. Sing it with me, it's the holiday season. Joe Christ, Joe Christ, Joe Christ, tweedly-dee-dee-dee. Joe Christ is gonna have himself a We'll have a couple more in this set, and then we'll take a pause, and you can find another refreshment. And then we have the great Louis Ledford and Norah McLaughin here to help us out for the second half of the show. And I think we'll do this one here. Send this one out to any of you out there who will be at this time of year when the family gets together. If anybody out there tonight is going to be having a new empty seat at their holiday table, I'll send this out to you especially. I wrote this for my grandfather a long time ago, about 10 years ago, wrote this song. And more recently, I think of my wonderful Aunt Sarah when I sing this song. And when we lost Aunt Sarah about 5 years ago, my father and I had an executive committee session, and we decided we would take some of her money and give it to this theater. It was easy. So it's easy to spend other people's money. Yes, really. So, Keith, if you would raise the house lights a little bit. You may be sitting in a Warner Blake seat. You may be sitting in a Peter Blake. You may be sitting in a Nancy Blake. But somebody out there is sitting in Sarah Blake. Yeah, but we made it Blake because I thought it was more like the siblings would all be together. However, the siblings in this theater are not sitting together. And that's because they were too much of a peanut gallery, so they had to be separated. All the Blake siblings had to be separated as everybody looked on their chair. On the chair, there are names. If you gave money to the theater, now it was a different theater, but come on, one love, people, one love. If you look at your chair, there's names on some of the chairs. Has anybody found any of my elders? We got Sarah Blake right there. Very good. Very good. Are any of the other chairs identified? Is Warren or Nancy or Peter out there anywhere? Well, they're all alive, by the way. It's only Sarah who is represented by the chair, but as long as the theater's here, the siblings will have a seat. Death came to our house, as it will, you know. The old man was 91. Everyone agreed it was a good way to go. He golfed that morning, drove for St. Vincent de Paul. After dinner with his son, he answered God's call. Come on home, come on home, come on home. Death sticks around after the body's gone. Old blue sweater in the closet, unraked leaves of the lawn. His mail still arrives. Each day it slides through the door. But when the game is on, everyone remembers the score. Come on home, come on home, come on home. Death loses its bite, but it never goes away. We all knew something was missing at the table Christmas Day. We sat around a little longer than we usually do. Told a few more stories. Let the spirit move through. Come on home. Come on home. Come on home. Let's sing it together. Come on home. Come on home. Come on. Come on home, come on home, Thank you. We'll do one more and then take a pause, what the Germans call a Pause. It is no small thing to live a life such that we can gather in a small dark room and tell songs and stories to each other and sing with each other and look at each other and have a few laughs together. I don't take it for granted. I enjoy every minute. Thank you all for being here. Thank you to the angels who have led us to this place and the fates. Such sad news for these last 2 months. It's just unbearable, sad news. People who have no water to drink, no food to eat, children dying. Such sad, sad news. In these last 2 months, there was one bright light I came across. And I thought, I want to amplify that light. The brother of a man who was killed October 7 said at his funeral, said, don't use our death and pain to bring death and pain to families anywhere. I said, I like that. I like that. In the kibbutz they killed our brother. We'll never hear his laugh again. They'll never lean upon his shoulder. 3 fatherless children, but don't use our death and pain to bring death and pain to families anywhere. Don't use our death and pain to bring death and pain to families anywhere. They told us to go south, we went south. Without water, we left the house. Bombs fell on us in the south. Fear in our eyes and dirt in our mouths. But don't use our death and pain to bring death and pain to families anywhere. Don't use our death and pain to bring death and pain to families anywhere. Paint her name on my daughter's arm, waiting. We know the bombs are gonna come. I'm a parent who can't protect our child, but they'll know her name when they find us in a pile. Still don't use our death and pain to bring death and pain to families anywhere. Don't use our death and pain to bring death and pain to families anywhere. Deaths were not caused by a flood. Injuries were not caused by a hurricane. The cause was choices people made, and we don't need to make those choices again, again, again. Sing it with me now. use our death and pain to bring death and pain to families. Anywhere. Don't use our death and pain to bring death and pain to families. Don't use our death and pain to bring death and pain to families. Anywhere. Thank you very much. We'll take a pause. Aaron Harmonson and Jan Peters. We'll see you after the break. Please make them feel welcome here, starting off the second set. Louis Ledford Norah McLaughin.
It's marvelous to see so many friends out there. Well, I could see you a minute ago. I can't see you anymore, so you can make faces or flip me off or do anything, and I would never know.
We can kind of see the first three-ish rows. Definitely can see you.
Can we have one more round of applause for the man of the hour, Robert Blake? Or should I say the man of the last hour? And the next hour. I know what you're thinking. Couldn't he have done that before he came out here? The answer is yes. I think we'll just get right to it. Gentle breeze from Hushabye Mountain softly blows over Lullaby Bay, fills the sails of boats that are waiting to sail all your worries away. It isn't far to Hushabye Mountain, and your boat waits down by the quay. Winds of night so softly are sighing, soon they will fly all your troubles to sea. So close your eyes on Hushabye Mountain, say goodbye to the cares of the day, watch your boat from Hushabye Mountain sail far away from Lullaby Bay. Gentle breeze from Hushabye Mountain softly blows over Lullaby Bay, fills the sails of boats that are waiting to sail all your worries away. Thank you. You know, I don't think it's any great mystery why this time of year is chosen by... I've never seen one like this before.
It's pretty cool.
I'm not done yet. There he goes. That's the spot. That this time of year is reserved by many belief systems to celebrate specific and very important celebrations. This is the time of quietude. It's the time of reflection. It's the time to sit and wonder about things. Wonder about things that are going well, and wondering about things that maybe aren't going well. And I love this time of year because it gives me a chance to follow the guide of nature, you know? Slow down. You move too fast, you know? Let's just rest for a while. We spend so many other seasons hustling and bustling and trying to make things grow or trying to process the things that we have grown. This is the time to slow down and be philosophical and think about things. And I'm thinking about love this season. That's my thing. So I love that you all are here. I love that I'm singing with Norah McLaughin, who got short all of a sudden. This is a theater thing, you know, to back. Please. Oh, unless you like it down there, that's a great thing. I'm sorry. Well, if you haven't learned anything by playing music with me, I can make things awkward. That's just the way it works. When you hang out with Lou,
I just keep coming back.
awkward fellow. Speaking of awkward, I'm bringing out the harmonica. That guy's going to try to play harmonica after Jan Peters was playing? Watch me. So, we're going to play at least one, maybe two Christmas inspired songs. We're going to stay away from the cheeky ones. You know, that Joe Christ one. We're not going to. When I was listening to that song, all I could see was my grandmother saying blaspheme. I want to thank Robert Blake for giving me a moment with my grandmother, who's been gone all these years. This one I'm going to play. I know what you were thinking. Why didn't he do that back there? The answer is capo. Is Peter Blake here? Yes. I thought I heard you. Did you get away? Did you? How do you put it? Are you unscathed from the thing everybody else got? That's correct. My God, you the Constitution. He's iron. I'm gonna call you Ironsides Blake. I'm very happy. Me too. Oh my God. And I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to fill you in. This is just a little private thing between me and Peter. Oh, how a rose are blooming from tender limb has sprung of Jesse's lineage coming as those of old have sung. There came a flowered bright amid the cold of winter, when half spent was the night. Isaiah 'twas foretold it, this rose I have in mind. With Mary we behold it, the Virgin Mother kind, to show God's love aright. She bore to us a Savior when half spent was the night. Thank you kindly. We're going to do one more song, and guess what? It's a sing-along, but you only have to sing one word.
What is it?
And that one word, yeah, I was like, what is it? They scored. Go team. I don't know if you heard
Okay,
that.
so
There was
there's
something
some
going
cheering.
on ago. There's only one word you have to sing, or you don't have to do anything. You paid to get in here, you can do whatever you want.
You
But
might know
if
the
you
whole song.
want to join in with the fun of singing along, I know I don't like doing it either, but it's better when you do. It makes it better for all of us when you do that. So all you got to do is sing one word. Did I tell you the word already? I can't remember.
It's a mystery.
Well, at this point, I feel like we ought to just draw out the suspense.
I'm starting to feel it.
Christmas. That's all you got to say. Christmas.
Santa, you should have known.
You ready? Christmas.
The snow's coming down.
Christmas.
I'm watching it fall.
Christmas.
Lots of people around. Baby, please come home. The church bells in town are ringing a song. What a happy sound. Christmas at all. I remember when you were here and all the fun we had last year. Pretty lights on the trees, I'm watching them shine. You should be here with me. Baby, please come home.
They're singing Deck the Halls, but it's not like Christmas at all. I remember when you were here and all the fun we had last year. If there was a way, I would hold back these tears, but it's Christmas Day. Please, 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 baby, please come home. Please come home. Won't you please come home? Oh, please come home. They're singing Deck the Halls, but it's not like Christmas at all.
I remember when you were here and all the fun we had last year.
There's more.
No, that's the end. Thank you, folks. Merry Christmas to y'all. After the show, I'll be out there on the where you came in there, and come say hi to me. You know, let's get to know each other better, if we don't already. Thanks.
Oh boy. Yeah, okay.
I had to move a few things.
When the Lord gets ready, you've got to move.
That's hilarious.
It's spiritual. Saturday night. Right, you know, somewhere around the 20th, we all kind of lose track of what day of the week it is. And it's Saturday night because we're all in anticipation of this day here. Christmas Day. The fat man is coming our way. Has he left the North Pole yet? No, he waits. He doesn't get a head start on things. He's in the right place at the right time. This came home from my daughter's preschool. Yeah. They know how to have fun. Yeah. So glad to spend this evening with you here and have a very subdued Christmas with you right now. And I very much do wish all of you a subdued Christmas. People don't understand, you know, Bellingham is the city of subdued excitement. They hear that and they get worried because they think too much about the first word. Let's remember the second word. I mean, come on. How many cities have the word excitement in their bio, you know? I don't know if you know. It's been something like 15 years that we're doing this show. I hope You got to enjoy. One thing you got to enjoy, if you did enjoy it, and I hope you did enjoy it. Last night I was negligent in getting the posters and the photos up. So we had the posters, the old posters and the photos up out there in the hallway for you to enjoy. Many years now, I think since 2016, I've recited Dylan Thomas's A Child's Christmas in Wales. A text that I love dearly, which I'm not going to do tonight. Because I'm going to tell you a little ramble I put together myself. I've only done it once. I think I did it in 17. But it's been a long time since I've shared with anybody a bachelor's Christmas Eve in Bellingham. So let's just wander back for a moment, if we can, back to Christmas Eve of 2016. It was snowing, if you remember. It wasn't like 22 when it was snowing and it was super cold and pipes are freezing and it was not cool. No, and then on Christmas Day it rained and it flooded basements and it was not cool. No, not in 2016. It was pretty. It was really pretty. The snow was coming down. That was the year. See, this show started at Boundary Bay and then wandered over to the Green Frog for a number of years, and then the Green Frog left us and we had to figure out what we were going to do. People were confused, people were concerned. Would there be a Subdued Christmas without the Green Frog? Well, as long as there's a Janet Leitner, let there be no concern. You will be taken in. There is room at the inn when Janet Leitner's at the helm. And we did it in the Mountain Room that year, and well, I gotta tell you, attendance wasn't what it could be because Louis Ledford was doing a free show at the Honeymoon that same night. And we were charging at least a 10 or maybe 20 in a room that nobody knew how to find. So it was a difficult proposition. And we did our show, though. We did it. We did it there, and then it's over, you know. And being, as I've explained to you, I explained that I have enough forks, you know, but I don't host the Christmas party, which means once I'm done with the Christmas show, that's it. I got to relax a little bit, Christmas Eve. For many years, I did a week of gigs in Portland before coming up and doing the Christmas show. I've been enjoying how much stamina I'm feeling because I have not just done 10 shows in a row in Oregon before this show. I'm alive, which means I'm going to be like Springsteen. Settle in. We're doing 3:45 tonight. That's not 3 45-minute sets. That's 3 hours 45. Where were we? Christmas Eve 2016. Wake up that morning and just have that feeling when you can finally slow down a little bit. Kind of like teachers feel somewhere at the end of June when you can finally relax a little bit. Just breathe, exhale a little bit. Of course, I still have to buy gifts and that kind of business, you know. And of course, well, not of course, but of course, I had a Kickstarter campaign that year to raise money for my record, Recitative. I was trying to raise $15,000. That's a lot of money. Well, I was printing double vinyl, a lot of money, a lot of studio time, a lot of musicians, and the project cost more than that, but I was going to raise 15, and the big idea was that I would pitch it during the holiday shows to ramp it up to try to get the last of the money, and you know how these things work. If you don't make it all the way to your goal, you don't get any of it, so you gotta get all the way to your goal. But I'm sure you can imagine, or you know if you've done this before, if you're doing something like this, you gotta have an ace in the hole. You gotta have a plan. You can't let that 11 just wither away. So I had a plan. The plan was to have breakfast with my mother and stepfather on Christmas Eve morning after the show, and we would log on to the Kickstarter, and my stepfather would bump it over the finish line, and then I would repay him once I got the money back from Kickstarter. Now, see, I know why you're laughing, because part of the whole thing here is I have to convince you when I'm raising the money for these things that I'm about to lose it. I'm not going to get it. It doesn't matter if I have $14.90. I'm going to lose it, people. You need to get me over that finish line. Well, we got to be pragmatic. We've got to be pragmatic. You don't end up being a middle-aged folk singer by not having some amount of pragmatism, you know. The less pragmatic have ended up working at Les Schwab, and I'm very grateful. And dang, every time I go by Les Schwab, I think, man, those people work hard. Bank tellers. Know what I mean? Bless you. People who answer the phone when people like me call and ask questions, technical questions about how to run things like my computer or my phone. Bless you. People work very hard out there. Where were we? This is going to take a while if I go down all these many roads. It's a bachelor's Christmas Eve in Bellingham, last I thought. I don't know. Let's see what I get into. Well, so there we were, and I had legitimately raised $11K from all of you. Holy cow, man, that's a lot of money. Thank you for that. You know, people could do a lot of complaining. People like to complain. It makes them feel good, makes them feel like they're the victim. The victim is a strong place, you know what I mean? And they're like, Spotify, streaming life is terrible. Well, you know, 10 years ago, you could not say, hey, I've got an idea. How about you all give me your money, and then I'll make the record? Well, we do that now. We do that. And in fact, we have to do that now, but that's not so bad. It's not so bad. You support us, and that's what gets us from point A to point B. And I raised about $11K from all of you. And then I was going to have my ace in the hole bump it over to the top. I'd give them the 4 back once I got the money from the Kickstarter, minus what they take. Hey, this is the cost of doing business in the USA. We're rocking and rolling here, but I'm feeling good, and I'm feeling a little greedy, and I'm feeling a little risky, and I say, let's wait a few hours. Let's wait a few hours. It'd be a shame to bump it over the finish line when here it is Christmas Eve and I can get on the social media and a few people might just be waiting for one more nudge to make their contribution. Let's wait a few more hours. So I didn't bump it over the finish line at 10 or 11 a.m. No, I just let it simmer a little bit. And I did run into a friend in a coffee shop that afternoon, and she did pledge that she would put in 5. Never did check. It was a beautiful, snowy afternoon. I went on my day walking around downtown Bellingham. How lucky are we to live in a town that has a downtown? How many towns have no downtown? What they have is houses and televisions. We as Americans spend all of our money on our real estate such that we can stay home and watch our own TVs, have our own movie theaters in our own houses, have our own restaurants in our own houses, and just stay in our own houses. We buy houses we can't afford, and we just work our jobs and live in our houses. But if there's a downtown, there's a place you can go and see other people. People complaining here in Bellingham. I'm on a roll tonight, people. Woo! People complaining here about these apartment buildings. I say bring on the condos, bring on the apartments, bring on the density. We need it. When I see those buildings go up, I say, there's a 6, 7, 8 more, 9, 10 houses that might contribute to my 11K. Because they're downtown and they might come down to see me at Boundary Bay on a Thursday, where I've been for the last 23 summers. And they might contribute to Gallo Glass and Jan Peters. They might contribute to Aaron Harmonson. Although he's so well dressed, it's going to be hard for you to ever get any contributions. He always looks so good. Where are we? Oh man, it was a beautiful, snowy Christmas Eve 16. I'm wandering around Bellingham. Gotta buy a few gifts. I'm waiting for those pledges to come in, and I'm wandering around downtown Bellingham. Who do I run into? Well, I run into the man whose name is at the door of this theater right here. I run into the one and only Lucas Hicks. And yes, there it is. It's Christmas Eve, and Robert Sarazin Blake and Lucas Hicks decide to go Christmas shopping together. The stage was not often, in fact, whenever we the stage was the stage was never large enough for both Robert Sarazin Blake and Lucas Hicks to be on it at the same time. You know, there's a certain capacity of ego where it just isn't going to work, you know. But there was enough room in his blue Volvo for Lucas and I to take a drive out to Jaeger's and do some Christmas shopping on Christmas Eve. Robert Sarazin Blake and Lucas Hicks go Christmas shopping at Christmas Eve at a sporting goods store. He's organized. He says, I'm all done. I just want to get something extra. I'm going, I've got nothing going. I'll follow your lead. We go out there. He says, I'm getting tops. I'm going to put a top. And everybody's stocking, and I get this top from my little nephew, and I got a little something, you know. Bachelor's Christmas Eve in Bellingham, I've begun my Christmas shopping. Come back home, I don't know what I do, deal with my bits and bobs. Now, as some of you may remember, I've got $11K that I'm about to lose if I don't get organized and get this thing going here. They don't let me put in that final amount now. It has to come from someone else. But I have my dear Aunt Sarah, who at that point is alive. And we've started a new Christmas Eve tradition since she's moved to Bellingham. I go to her apartment on Christmas Eve, and we have a glass of wine and look out at the bay and have a bit of chat and hang out. So that's the plan. I go there at 4 o'clock, and sometime between 4 and 5 o'clock, we're going to log into the thing, and Sarah's going to be my ace in the hole. She's going to pledge the rest of the money, and then we're going to... pay her back once I get the money from the Kickstarter. Mine's the little bits Kickstarter takes. Hey, what do you say? That's the cost of doing business in the USA. It's okay. We have our second glass of wine, and we're reminiscing about the show the previous night and the Dylan Thomas and this, that, and the other thing, you know. One Christmas was so much like the other, and the years around the Seatown corner now, and out of all sounds except the distant speaking of voices, I sometimes hear a moment before sleep that I can never recall, whether it snowed for 6 days and 6 nights when I was 12, or 12 days and 12 nights when I was... All the Christmases roll down towards the two-tongued sea like a cold and headlong moon bundling down the sky. That was our street, and stop at the rim of the ice-edged fish freezing waves. And I plunge my hands into the snow, and I bring out whatever I can find. In go my hands into the wool white ball of holidays resting at the rim of the carol-singing sea. And out come Mrs. Prothero and the firemen. Years and years ago, when I was a boy, when there were wolves in Wales and birds the color of red flannel petticoats whisked past the harp-shaped hills, when we sang and wallowed all night and day in caves that smelt like Sunday afternoons and damp front farmhouse parlors. When we chased with the jawbones of deacons, the English and the bears, before the motor car, before the wheel, before the Duchess face horse. We rode the daft and Happy Hills bareback, and it snowed and snowed and snowed and snowed and snowed, and it was snowing on a bachelor's Christmas Eve in Bellingham as my aunt and I charged into our third glass of wine, reminiscing about the show and just enjoying life and family and stories and humor. And then one of us looks at the clock and says, we better log in Sarah's phone to the old Kickstarter here because it's 4:49. We have 11 minutes, and if we don't pledge that final $3,700, we're going to lose the legitimate $11K. So let's log into that thing, and we start logging into that thing, and wouldn't you know, myself and my Aunt Sarah really could have used David Pender Lofgren's help that night. We were struggling with the technology. There's Sarah, she's got her glasses, she's doing this kind of thing in her phone, and we're getting nervous. I'm taking a deep breath, thinking, this was stupid. This was really stupid. I mean, you make stupid mistakes and think, well, that will be a financial, you rear end somebody a little bit. That was stupid, you get parking tickets stupid. But then I'm thinking, the faith and trust of all the people, all of you who pledged that legitimate $11K is about to completely disappear. And I still got to pay for this record. We got to get this. And Sarah says, I'm in. She says she's in. She's in the Kickstart, and she gets pulled out. Don't worry, people, don't worry. We pulled it off. 445, 448, 451, 452, 456, 457. It was 457. And we made the pledge of Bachelor's Christmas Eve in Bellingham. And I made my way. Said goodnight to my aunt, made my way. I was going over for dinner at my friends, the Gowron's house. If you saw those photos in the hallway there of those wonderful young ladies who are grown ladies now. They used to sing with me, but they grew up and they went on, and now they work on the Tonight Show in New York City, so they don't do the show with me here anymore. Went to the Gowron's house and had just this beautiful family, beautiful mom and dad and 3 kids and the Christmas tree, and everyone looks great, and Grandpa's there in a collared shirt and a beautiful clean wool sweater, and Grandma's all put together, and everyone's gorgeous, and there's banter, and there's kids, and there's hors d'oeuvres, and there's snacks, and a beautiful meal is served. Oh, wow. Bachelor's Christmas Eve in Bellingham. I'm at the right place at the right time, soaking all this family vibe in. But let's not forget, Christmas Eve in 2016 in the United States, we'd elected somebody to become the next president. And that person was not president yet, but it loomed over us. It loomed over us. We were scared, and I don't know if we were scared enough or if we were too scared. It's just been such a blur of anxiety, as it was a blur of anxiety for parents of 3 young girls with a president of that nature coming into the White House, who by all measures is disgusting. The kids went to bed, and Santa Claus was about to arrive, which is when it's time for the uncles to leave. The family, the beautiful family Christmas. There are always uncles at Christmas. The same uncles. Some few large men sat in the parlors without their collars, trying their new cigars, holding them out judiciously at arm's length, taking them to their mouths, coughing, and then holding them out and inspecting as though waiting for an explosion. For dinner we had turkey and blazing pudding. And after dinner, the uncles sat in front of the fires, loosened all buttons, and put large, moist hands on the watch chains, groaned a little, and slept. I blew up all the balloons to see how big they would blow up to see if they would burst. And when they did, all the uncles jumped and grumbled. Walking from the Columbian neighborhood back downtown, by the old Lighthouse Mission, by the old Bellingham train station, so underused. What a cool old building. We just don't even notice it's there most of the time. Walk up by the old town cafe, by Penny Lane, walking up through downtown Bellingham on Christmas Eve. It's 70 degrees in New York City, but here in Bellingham we have this beautiful snow falling down, got the scarf on, got the hats on. Rare do we really even need these things. I'm walking through Bellingham on a Christmas Eve. Now, it would be absolutely a great trial. It would actually be, it would be ridiculously out of my way at that point to go from that section of Holly to my house without walking right through. The only way to really get from there to my house is to walk through the front door of Cap Hansen's bar. Otherwise it would have had a great detour, which is what I did. Christmas Eve at Cap's, and it's open. And I'm feeling good, There have been beverages, I have reached cruising altitude, and I've cruised now into Cap Hansen's bar. My buddy Johnny says, Robert, what would you like? And he buys me a beer, and that's a beautiful thing, except for that I have no cash in my pocket. And you gotta tip, especially when the bartender buys you beer, you gotta tip, you know. What am I gonna do? 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 And that's the first and only time I've tipped a bartender $2.50 worth of postage stamps. A bachelor's Christmas Eve in Bellingham. Bachelor's Christmas Eve. It's time to walk home. It's time to get home. It's Christmas Eve. It does not matter what you believe when it's Christmas Eve, because it's a feeling. It's just a feeling. There's a feeling going on. And I'm feeling feelings like anybody else. And at that point, to get from Cap Hansen's bar to my apartment, a person would have had to go ridiculously out of their way. I mean, ridiculously out of their way to avoid walking by the house of their ex-girlfriend. And where one could look up, just look up and see if the light was on in the window. And then, you know, I had reached cruising altitude previous. I was beyond cruising altitude, and it was Christmas Eve. I was feeling the feelings, do you know what I mean? I was feeling heart and love and joy and loneliness and pureness. I was feeling a pureness of spirit, and I thought in this pureness of spirit, it would probably be a very reasonable idea to go knock on that door. I didn't do it, which was for the best. Made it back to my apartment without embarrassing myself any more than was sort of reasonable for a bachelor's Christmas Eve in Bellingham. Always on Christmas night there was music. An uncle played the fiddle. A cousin sang Cherry Ripe. Another cousin sang Drake's Drum. It was very warm in that little house. Auntie Hannah, who'd gone on to the parsnip wine, sang a song about bleeding hearts and death, and then one in which she compared her heart to a bird's nest. Then everyone laughed again, and I went to bed. Looking through my window out into the moonlight and the smoke-colored snow, I could see the lights and the windows of all the other houses on our hill, and hear the music rising from them up the long, steadily falling night. I turned the little gas low and got into bed. I said a few words to the close and holy darkness, and I slept. A bachelor's Christmas Eve in Bellingham. Thanks for sticking with me there. We got a few more selections before we send you out into the wilderness of the Christmas Eve. This one comes from Buck Owens, somewhere around the key of E flat there, Mr. Peters. like Christmas music, talk to the man, the best dressed man in the house. He puts together the best Christmas compilations that can be put together. I'm talking about Jeff Leppard's Your Doorman. Put your hands together for Jeff. It's his birthday tomorrow. I wonder if he ever got Buck Owens on a compilation. Oh, yeah. Maybe I learned it from you. Oh, Santa looked a lot like Daddy. Oh, Daddy looked a lot like him. It's not the way I had him pictured. Santa was a much too thin. He didn't come down the chimney, so Mama must have let him in. Santa looked a lot like Daddy. Daddy looked a lot like him. Oh, they thought I was fast sleeping. They thought I was tucked in bed. I never thought I'd come a-peeping to hear just what was said. But Santa put his arms around Mama. Mama put her arms around him. So Santa Claus ain't Daddy. I'm gonna tell on him. Oh, Santa looked a lot like Daddy. Daddy looked a lot like him. It's not the way I had him pictured. Santa was much too thin. He didn't come down the chimney. Santa Claus he must have been. Santa looked a lot like Daddy. Daddy looked a lot like him. I never saw no dancer or prancer, never heard the sleigh bells ring. I never saw the red-nosed reindeer like they show you on the TV screen. But it sure brought a lot of presents. Santa Claus he must have been. Santa looked a lot like Daddy. Your Daddy looked a lot like him. One more time. Santa looked a lot like Daddy. Your Daddy looked a lot like him. It's not the way I had him pictured. Santa was that much too thin. But he sure brought a lot of presents. So Santa Claus he must have been. Santa looked a lot like Santa, 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 looked a lot like Daddy. Santa Claus he must have been. Must remember the great Shane MacGowan. It was Christmas Eve, babe. In the drunk tank, an old man said, son, I don't think I'll see another one. And then he sang a song, the rare old Mountain Dew. I turned my face away and I dreamed about you. Got on a lucky one. Came in 18 to 1. I got a feeling this year's for me and you. So happy Christmas. I love you, baby. There's gonna be good times when all our dreams come true. They got cars big as bars, they got streets filled with gold. When the wind blows right through, you no place for the old. when you first took my hand on a cold Christmas Eve. You promised me Broadway was waiting for me. You're handsome, you're pretty. Oh, let's just get this going. These two can handle it for a moment. Cars big as bars, they got streets filled with gold. When the wind blows right through, you know it's a place for the old. When you first took my hand on a cold Christmas Eve, you promised me Broadway was waiting for me. You're handsome, you're pretty, queen of New York City. When the band finished playing, we held out for more. Sinatra was singing, all the drunks they were swinging. We stood on the corner and danced on the floor. And the boys of the NYPD choir were singing Galway Bay. And the bells were ringing out for Christmas Day. Those of you, I think most people know who Shane MacGowan is, but if it's slipping your mind, he was the singer of the band called The Pogues, a very important band in the world of music. He also wrote A Pair of Brown Eyes, he wrote A Summer in Siam, he wrote all these amazing songs. The songs that Shane wrote always felt like they'd always been written. They'd always been there, it's just Shane came along and captured them, threw up a lasso to the stars and pulled them down. This is a duet he recorded with Christy McCall. You're a bum, you're a punk, you're an old huron junk, lying in the ditch and waiting for dead. You scumbag, you maggot, you cheap, lousy word that rhymes with maggot. Merry Christmas, me ass, I wish this our last. And the boys of the NYPD choir were singing Galway Bay. And the bells were ringing out for Christmas Day. I didn't sing the first part of that second verse, which is definitely the most critical. Well, I could have been someone. Let's just back up. Everybody can get in on that. You sing, well, so could anyone, just like the Hoffmans sing. Well, I could have been someone. You took my dreams from me when I first met you, babe. I kept them with me own. Can't make it on my own. I took your dreams and I built mine around you. You're a bum. You're a punk. You're an old whore on junk. Lying in the ditch. It's a love song. And waiting for dead. You scumbag, you maggot. You were the rhymes with a maggot. Merry Christmas, me ass. I hope it's our last. And the boys of the NYPD choir were singing Galway Bay. How about you sing that with me now? And the boys of the NYPD choir. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the boys of the NYPD were singing Galway Bay. And the bells were ringing out for Christmas Day. Thank you very much. We're closing in on this experience here. We're wrapping this up shortly, but there's just one more message, a deep message, maybe the most important message. And I see someone over there in chair 6 is already sort of taking that message to heart. And that message of the year, the message of this time of year. Slow down. The weather is telling you to slow down. Don't go to the gym. Don't do it. Stay home. Stay in bed. Do not get out of bed. That's where you need to be, in bed. Read a book, watch a movie. Do nothing. It's cold. And even though it's not that cold, it's traditionally cold, which means out of just muscle memory, do nothing. Stay home. Stay warm. Eat fattening foods. Make a cake. Eat it. You can cook a cake and eat it too. It's the holiday season. Just enjoy, just slow down. This song comes from the one and only Yoga Man. And we do have, it's actually kind of like a city council. There are 3 ex-members of the Yoga Man Burning Band. Well, maybe 4 ex-members of the Yoga Man Burning Band in the house, which means it's actually illegal for us to make any decisions like the city council, but we can sing, and you can sing too. We can sing. This is not the time to rush. 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 This isn't the time to get angry. This isn't the time to fight. Everybody bring it back to the one. This is the time to unite. This is not the time to rush. This is not the time to rush. Whether you're drinking coffee, whether you're drinking tea, no matter if you're high or low, wherever you may be, this is not the time to rush. 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 You can stop for a minute. You can stop for a day. Give yourself a chance to breathe and recuperate. This is not the time to rush. This is not the time to rush. Now, I understand all of us are going to rush anyways, but nonetheless, we get an opportunity in this song to just go into that space. Maybe we don't have to. Maybe we don't have to, and then we sing it. This is not the time to rush. Yeah. This is not the time to rush. This is not the time to rush. This is not the time to rush. Jan Peters. This is not the time to rush. 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 Well, I would like to just take a moment here because this is a Yogo Man Burning Band song, and being that there are at least 3 former members of the Yogo Man Burning Band in the house, and all of us played in a band supporting a man who truly knows how to not rush. I'm wondering if Nora and Mars and I could just sing it together from you. Mars, you still here? Yeah, let's do it. This is not the time to rush. 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 Bars, will you come down and play the Jingle Bells with us, please? David Pender Lofgren had to go home to Maine. I hope the Lofgren family is still awake watching us on the TV at home. But he left his Jingle Bells, and I thought, there's one man I can count on, one and only man to play the Jingle Bells other than David Pender Lofgren. And that's, put your hands together for Like the Planet Mars. This is from the greatest songwriter in Marietta. That's my friend Reed. He wrote this one here. I don't know anybody who doesn't need a little cheer when the darkness comes around this time of year. If that comes easy, I'm glad for you. If that comes hard, I'm pulling for you. One thing we really need is peace for everyone. Bring on the darkness, I'll find the light. Bring on the dark in this holy night. That's what you sing. Bring on the darkness. Bring on the darkness. I'll find the light. Bring on the dark in this holy night. It isn't all about cheer. It doesn't matter what your name is for God. We all need to find love in the common good. If that comes easy, I'm glad for you. If that comes hard, I'm pulling for you. One thing we really need is peace for everyone. Bring on the darkness, I'll find the light. Bring on the dark in this holy night. Sing it again. Bring on the darkness, I'll find the light. Bring on the dark in this holy night. Mr. Peters. dark. You're not taking your vitamin D like you thought you would.
No, that's for sure.
You know what I mean? You're not immune. The darkness comes. The darkness comes. The darkness comes. You gotta be alone sometimes and embrace it. And sometimes you gotta get together with other people in a small dark room and sing together. And remember, there's other people out there who feel like you. And if you know that, it's just a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better if you know it. We're all in this together because we all in this together. And as soon as we forget about that, that's when we're in trouble. Okay. Bring on the darkness. I'll find the light. Bring on the dark in this holy night. Bring on the darkness. I'll find the light. Bring on the dark in this holy night. Just you. Yeah. Woo. This is now the last song of our show, our very subdued Christmas. Thank you for being here with us. We don't take it lightly. It's not a cheap ticket. We really appreciate you pulled it out of your pocket to spend some time with us, healing us as we heal together, singing songs in the dark times, serious, and perhaps a few that are silly. Are you ready? Yeah, I thought so. There are certain people who would be very upset if I did not do this song. Ooh, I've never done it that way before, and clearly no one else was expecting that. I thought maybe we'd get a chord going. I don't know. Ooh, she's checking her watch in the front row. I mean, I'm really doing everything I can to entertain here. I'm doing I got the jingle bells. They got a babysitter, I suppose. I don't know. Oh, who's got a beard that's long and white? Who comes around on a special night? Special night, beard that's white. Must be Santa, must be Santa, must be Santa, Santa Claus. Who has suits and a boot of red? Wait, let's just rewind that now. Who has boots and a suit of red? Who has a long cap on his head? Cap on head, suit that's red, special night. Yeah, must be Santa, must be Santa, must be Santa, Santa Claus. Who has a bright red cherry nose? Good guess. A lot of people would think Rudolph. You know what I mean? But you got it. You got it. You're above average learners. Who has a bright red cherry nose? Who laughs this way? Ho, ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho. Cherry nose, cap on head, suit that's red, special night. Must be Santa, must be Santa, must be Santa, Santa Claus. I want to talk to the youngest person in the room. Who's out there? Well, then the lobby's not in this room, is it? I want to talk to the youngest at heart person in the room. All right, I'll just go ahead and talk to the person who was looking at their watch. What do you want for Christmas, young lady? A big hug? Yes, she just wants a big hug. A big hug standing on the rug. A big hug on the rug. Ho, 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 cherry nose, cap on head, suit that's red, special night. Must be Santa, must be Santa, must be Santa, Santa. Hey Jeff, do you have your bones? Let's do it. Ah, who comes on stage and plays the bones? Who's so happy he's never alone? Playing the bones, never alone, getting a hug on the rug. Ho, 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 cherry nose, cap on head, suit that's red, special night. Must be Santa, must be Santa, must be Santa, Santa Claus. Oh, I need one more. I just feel it. Is there anybody here who works in film in Los Angeles? I thought so. Yeah. Not that kind of film. Mr. Penny Brown, what do you want for Christmas? Oh, you're way up there. Is it you, God? Yeah. Who wants to ride on a passenger train? Forrest wants to ride on a passenger train. Who really is not ashamed? Forrest really is not ashamed. Not ashamed to ride the passenger train. Playing the bones, not alone. Standing on the rug, getting a hug. Ho, 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 cherry nose. Ah, cap on head, suit that's red, special night. Must be Santa, must be Santa, must be Santa, Santa. All right, I want to have a bells and bones solo. First time ever, people. Not only here, ever. Ever. Must be Santa, must be Santa, must be Santa. Sing it with me now. Must be Santa, must be Santa, must be Santa, Santa. Hey! Must be Santa, must be Santa, must be Santa. We wish you all a very subdued Christmas, and we wish peace for everyone. Enough food, enough drink, enough shelter, enough love for everyone. Thank you. Good night. Thank you. Must be Santa, must be Santa, must be Santa, Santa Claus. Ho, ho, ho. Take a bow. Take a bow, everybody. Thank you very much.